Hello, welcome to another edition of the Pace Report, reporting live here at Dizzy's, here at Jazz at Lincoln Center, here in New York City. Pianist Tamir Hendelman hails from Tel Aviv, Israel, and he brings his unique roots music from Israel, as well as fuses it with classical as well as jazz. Tonight he's performing selections off his latest CD, Destinations, featuring the legendary Lewis Nash on drums. Destinations.
Yes.
This is your second release off Resonance Records.
My second release on Resonance Records, that's right.
Tell me about Lewis Nash. I mean, the dynamic Lewis Nash. I mean, he's an excellent drummer, and he actually brings, I guess he adds a whole spontaneity attack to the music you're playing.
Absolutely. The first time I saw Lewis, it was at a festival we were playing, and just some standard, you know, and you play one tune and you play a chord, and you look at the guy, and it's like, yeah, okay, I got your number, you know? Amazing. Amazing spontaneity, amazing colors, sound, sensitivity, soul, everything.
The songs that you selected and you're playing on this CD, I mean, there's a vast palette. I mean, there's Joe Beam, there's classical, there's some of your original, and then there's also music from your native Israel.
Yes.
That's gotta be pretty hard.
I don't know about hard. I mean, I just say yes, you know? I say yes to any music that moves me. So whether it's folk songs that I heard as a child, or, you know, I remember getting a tape of a Count Basie big band when I was about 10. Tripped me out. You know, the groove, the family, the feeling of family in there, you know? So I just gravitate. Whatever moves me, I just go there.
One of the most beautiful songs on there, and I just hit just a second ago.
Yeah.
I'm an avid Joe Beam fan.
Right.
How did you choose that particular song out of the whole?
Sure.
I mean, there's a lot of songs that you could have gone with, but this was a song that I'm not really familiar with.
Yeah, I heard Pizzarelli on a few recordings, Joe Henderson and some other things, but the producer of the CD, George Clayton, came back from Brazil with a huge folio of these Joe Beam songs, and I just kept on going through all of them. This is nice, this is good, this is nice. Wow. It just stopped me in my tracks, you know? It's a whole symphony. And then later on, I found the words were all about him wanting to, like, save the Amazon forest, you know? It's about this bird and everything. It's beautiful. So I just...
It kind of fits with where America's going right now, going green.
That's right. Nothing wrong with being green.
Let's talk about you growing up in Israel. I mean, you are, I guess, one of the few musicians that have come out of Israel that's playing jazz. Tell me about some of your origins and how you got exposed to jazz.
I got exposed to jazz from a few things. The tape I told you about of the Count Basie Big Band, and then hearing Chick Corea and hearing Bobby McFerrin in concert. And just those experiences. I remember what Bobby was doing with the audience. You know, they were singing along with him like they'd known the songs all their lives, right? He just reached out to them. So I was like, I want to do that.
And I understand that your family moved to the United States when you were 12 years old.
That's right.
Was that a musical and as well as a cultural shock for you as well?
It was, I remember like the size of everything, parking lots for miles, but as far as cultural, it was great. Just getting to connect with, getting to see people of all kinds of ethnicities and hearing all this music that I haven't heard before. And within 2 years, I had taken a trip to Japan. And that was a whole other thing. So it's just like a gateway to the world was my experience of coming to LA.
When did you decide that you wanted to play piano, and when did you start taking piano very serious?
Well, my first instrument was not the piano. It was a keyboard, like the electric organ. And I was walking down the street in Israel, in Tel Aviv, and I heard somebody demonstrate an organ from a store. And what I heard were strings, brass, percussion, all of these different things. So it got me thinking like an orchestra when I played. And then later on, when I came to the United States, and I started to listen more deeply into classical piano music and jazz piano music, all of a sudden the piano came to life for me. It was like not just one sound, but many sounds. So then I got more into the piano and kind of took that influence of the orchestral and put it into the piano.
Kind of like what Keith Jarrett did.
Keith, one of my heroes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Now, I understand that at 14 years old, you won the Yamaha Keyboardist competition.
That's right.
You were 14 years old, so you were your training pretty much started when you were about 6 or 7 years old.
That's right, it did. And I was fortunate to have teachers that were very creative and imaginative and had me improvise, had me do ear training, had me compose from a very young age. So it wasn't just about learn your classical pieces and one day, So that was very fortunate. And then I was able to connect with some folks like Claire Fisher and Billy Childs. And then I took lessons from many, many different pianists just to get their viewpoints in it, to get the way that they got into the music and their inspirations.
like about Tamir's approach to playing is that he incorporates so much of the essence of the music, the tradition of the music, but he has a spirit of adventurousness, which I like. So his arrangements and the way that he plays shows that he has a firm grasp of the essence of the music and the great players who came before him, but he's not afraid to go out on a limb and try things on his own or from his own perspective. We already knew, even prior to having to work out the arrangements, that we like playing together, and we play in a way that's complementary, all three of us. And so we knew that it was just a matter of getting the arrangements down so that we could then interact the way we would normally interact if we were just playing on a jam session or playing a standard tune.
Have been one of the most requested pianists and accompanists in Los Angeles. You've backed Diana Krall, Barbra Streisand, Gladys Knight. How did you step into that role?
Well, a few years ago, I joined the Clayton-Hamilton Jazz Orchestra, and that band has had many guest artists come and record with them. So that's how I met Diana, and recently Barbra Streisand. That wasn't with the big band, but it was with some of the same musicians. And then I also, met some horn players just through playing. Teddy Edwards was one of the first that I played with. But then again, later on, with the big band, Benny Golson, and later James Moody. So I just feed off the energy of whoever is there and create with them, is my approach.
So what is it like working with those different artists? Because I know that Barbara is a perfectionist of two things. One, her voice, right, and two, the direction and the interpretation of the song.
Right.
I mean, that's how she built her career.
Yes.
And then you've got Diana Krall, who's kind of the jazz pianist / vocalist, and then you got soul with Gladys Knight. I mean,
sure.
Different egos.
Every person brings so much experience and so much sincerity to what they do that it's like a sponge. I remember when I was younger, my teacher said, always be like a sponge. Always soak up whatever is there. And then that advice has been really good because I just listen in the moment and learn. I remember Barbra Streisand did a recording, and she had this lush orchestral arrangement, and she had this idea of having a string quartet in the middle. It was the perfect thing. So I appreciate from both angles, the singing and the playing, the arranging, the presentation, the whole thing.
That'll do it again for another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace reporting live here at Dizzy's, here at Jazz and Lincoln Center here in New York City. I'd like to personally thank Tamir for his time, as well as Lewis Nash for those comments. As always, please visit my website, www.thepacereport.com, for my weekly column, as well as my past segments. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Peace.